illegal immigrant arrested for sending 70K to ISIS. ISIS. A Tajik national living illegally in Brooklyn, whose name is Mansouri Manu Chekiri, something like that, was arrested on February 26th for allegedly conspiring to fund the Islamic State and its Central Asian affiliate, ISIS-K. According to the FBI, I'm just going to call him Mansouri. Okay. Mansouri entered the US on a tourist visa in June of 2016, but overstayed his visa when it expired in December of 2016. In March 2017, he attempted to gain legal status by paying an American citizen for a sham marriage. So basically, like conspiring to commit marriage fraud. And I'm going to give you the juicy details. Just wait. But his petition, so like you get legally married and then you have to petition the government for a visa. His petition failed ultimately due to missing documentation. From December of 2021 to April of 2023, he allegedly funneled approximately $70,000 to an ISIS linked operative in Turkey and Syria, including to a suspect who was later arrested in January of 2024 for a terrorist attack on a church in Istanbul that was claimed by ISIS K. The complaint also states that Mansouri actively supported ISIS by praising past attacks in the US and collecting jihadi propaganda promoting violence and martyrdom. Despite being prohibited from possessing firearms as an illegal alien, he frequently visited shooting ranges and trained with assault rifles, even sending a video of himself firing a weapon to a ISIS affiliate with the message, quote, "Thank God I am ready, brother." A concerned relative reported him to the New York State Terrorism Tips Hotline, fearing that he might commit violence. Now facing charges of terrorism financing, immigration fraud, and illegal firearms possession, Mansouri could face up to 45 years in prison if convicted. Um, so there is okay, look, when I first heard this news, I was like, okay, like the feds doing their job. They caught another guy who's trying to fund ISIS, like radicalized in ISIS, supports them, maybe has the potential of committing an act of terror here, you know, another day, another story, whatever. And then I started to dig into this and I'm like, there is drama, there is extortion, there is strippers, there is the Bronx. Like this low key almost feels like it should be a movie.
What? Okay.
And the reason why I'm laughing is just because, like, you have to try to find humor in these things where you can instead of just constantly being like, oh my God, there's a terrorist sleeper cell. I'm going to freak out. You never know who's next. Blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, he was funding ISIS. Yes, he definitely had the potential to do like a lone wolf attack. This is a dangerous person. He doesn't belong in the United States. He's not allowed to be in the United States. But then when you go through some of the manuscripts of the trials and tribulations of his life, it's like it's kind of funny to me. I don't know. Maybe I have a weird sense of humor. Um, so basically, let's kind of walk things through. And this is why I go to read the complaints that are released by the DOJ. This is coming out of the Eastern District of New York, because you get to see the special agent that was assigned to track his case talk about all the evidence, and the special agent talk about their experience, why they believe this to be true, why they believe to be probable cause, and just lay out the evidence that would lead to the charges. And so the first thing that I find very interesting about this case is that what happened was that a relative turned him in, because there was a relative that called like a New York terrorism hotline to say, like, I think that this person is capable of violence. I'm afraid of this person. This person has committed domestic violence in the past. He's threatened to kill me multiple times, and we need to report him like to the FBI because of what he's involved in. So one of his own family members turned him in, um, because of his violence and his radicalism, which I thought was really interesting. So then because his family member turned him in or tipped off the authorities in August of 2024, then they start to look into him and they start to get all of the warrants to start, accessing his data. And when they access his data, they find years of evidence of not only his immigration fraud, illegal firearms possession, but years of evidence of his communications with ISIS. And it is fascinating. I don't know, maybe I'm just a nerd. So basically, um, this is a man, so he's from Tajikistan, from Central Asia. And so he had a special inspiration from Central Asian ISIS members. So ISIS members from Uzbekistan, some like Uyghur, Chinese, and he would watch it. They found on his phones and in his data tons of evidence of him watching documentaries about Central Asian terrorists, lots of content from ISIS propaganda that was translated into Tajik and Russian, which are the primary languages there, and lots of ISIS nasheeds. And these ISIS nasheeds are like one of the main ways that they help promote propaganda. And as they go through his account, they find that he is in communication with, like, following ISIS Instagram pages, um, following, like, Turkish ISIS affiliates, and basically they find that he is in communication with some sort of ISIS member in Turkey. And so over time, they're looking at their WhatsApp messages and everything, and they find that this man, Mansouri is his first name, is, and they don't, in the complaint, they do not tell you the name of any of the other individuals, right? It's individual one, individual two, CC1, CC2, whatever. So basically, he's funneling money into Turkey, and his contact in Turkey is sending this money to two places. It is going to the wives and children of ISIS fighters who are either killed or still fighting, but basically the all of in Syria, if people don't know, there's a giant refugee camp where they put all the ISIS wives and the ISIS kids, and it's called Al-Hol. And Al-Hol is, like, nominally operated by the Syrian Defense Forces and some Kurdish forces, if I remember correctly, but it's de facto operated by ISIS. Like, ISIS is literally active inside this refugee camp. And, and there's prison breaks from this refugee camp all the time, and it's extremely dangerous. Um, and so basically they're funneling money to the wives of the ISIS fighters and their kids, and then like half of it will go to ISIS fighters themselves. So it's really interesting because, see, guys, this is why you go look at the complaint. I swear to God, look at who else is going to show you this juiciness, these details, okay? So look at this. So, when you're online and you're part of an online community and you need to prove your identity, so you like post a photo of yourself holding a sign with your username on it, to like prove that it to for verification, right? So they're kind of doing the same thing. So wait, let's pull up this. Wait, what's happening? Wait, remove ad. Okay, here we go. Okay. So the ISIS fighters would do something similar. So they would send these photos back and forth to each other. So this is the photo that the Mansouri guy would send to them. And this is a bunch of money that he's sending them, like in Syrian notes. And you can see the date here. So we can presume that this was sent on the 5th of January, 2022. And what does it say in Arabic? It says like May God reward you. And then so basically what they do is they send a photo back
Is that a
of
child?
yeah, this is a child,
Oh my.
and this is one of the ISIS wives, and it says, like, we have some Russian here, like, half the money is shown, and then it says the same note again, like, "May God reward you," right
You
here.
can see the difference between the child and the grown woman is that the child at least could show her eyes, but the grown woman is like, yeah, no, that could be actually too sexy, like you have to cover no eyes either, like completely black. Yeah, but go on, sorry. Oh, you're muted.
I don't know how that happened. Okay, so basically, they have these conversations back and forth about how the money is being used. So, like, okay, we gave this much to the families, this much to the sisters, this much to the children, like this one for a boy who's in jail. um, and then kind of give an account of how they're spending their money. So, like, oh, this isn't Photoshop. Well, you can track it down. Like, it was distributed this way. For example, for the deceased, so these are ISIS fighters who were killed, their wives received this much, their children this much, depending on how much children they have. Like, praise be to God, the money has been distributed very well. It's helped the widows and their children. But just know that this is only half of the money. And so the special agent says, based on my training and experience in the context of these photographs, as discussed below, I believe that the deceased is a reference to battlefield deaths of ISIS members, and I am familiar with the practice of soliciting financial support from ISIS sympathizers to the family of slain ISIS fighters. So, in a way, this reminds me of like the pay for slay program, of the Palestinian Authority, where they basically are them and their families are, like, getting workman's comp or, like, life insurance for the fact that the dad was killed off doing jihadi shit, and they're doing all this stuff to support their family who's left behind.
And they take a
Um,
cut probably for their services too. Like it's a
Probably.
good cause, give us money, and then there's part of it that goes to themselves,
Yeah.
I think.
And this is what's interesting. Additionally, as will be seen more clearly in other messages below, I believe that the reference to the other half of the money that is not going to these family members likely refers to a portion that is going to others about whom his contact in Turkey is more circumspect to discuss on the phone, specifically ISIS fighters. So he's saying this elusive other half, the guy doesn't want to talk about it on the phone, but it's probably going to ISIS members, specifically ISIS K. Or for those who don't know, ISIS Khorasan, which is like Central Asian province, and that's a region that covers what? Khorasan is Iran, Afghanistan. Does Khorasan reach into Tajikistan at all? I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, um, so basically, yeah, there's more photos of to, like, prove that the money is going to the right place. We can see that it has the same phrase in Arabic, "May God reward you." The United Nations carpets. This world is so crazy, man.
Wow. Wait, so we have a picture of a woman thanking people who send money in support of ISIS in front of the money that the ISIS supporters have sent her in a refugee camp by United Nations on top of United Nations carpets. Yeah, this is a crazy world. This is like, wow,
Yeah, yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah,
So, by the way, the people, the no, the only people who have control over this camp are the SDF, right? The Syrian Democratic Force, which is run by the YPG, the Kurdish groups. So
yeah,
this area is managed by Kurds, and this is why some people are worried that if the new government in Syria goes attacks the Kurdish groups, what will happen to this refugee camp? Because if this refugee camps opens up, this is going to be a major source of concern. We have
yeah,
children growing up in this camp for years, completely brainwashed to be the next generation of ISIS fighters. This is a can of worms that is like nobody wants to open. Like they have been kept there, but nobody is like micromanaging them. They're all there, mothers who have lost their husbands to war, with with that ideology and mindset, raising up children to be even more radical than their fathers. Nobody's like managing that area, and this is a refugee camp that you guys need to keep an eye on it, because if this opens up one day, this is going to spread around the region, and it's like a disaster
We're not
waiting to
ready. We're
happen.
not ready. To be honest, I have a hot
Yeah.
take when it comes to that. Part of the reason why the situation was allowed to be the way that it is in a whole is they're like, "Oh, well, it's wrong and like against international law and the rights of the family for us to separate these children from their mothers." And I'm like, "These mothers are abusers." Like 100% you can separate a child from their abuser. Personally, I believe that you are an abuser, especially the foreign national, like Western ISIS wives. Like there are tons of women who brought their kids from overseas into this environment. You are a neglectful, abusive, negligent parent if you do that. 100% we can and should separate you from your mother. That's in your best interest. Like, I don't care where you came from. You should be separated from your mother and brought back to your home country. Like, I think it's, like, so stupid that we allow that. We're like, "Oh, well, it's wrong to separate them from their parents." We separate children from their parents all the time because it's for their well-being, it's for their safety, it's for their livelihood. I don't know. When you read into the situations of the ISIS moms and their kids, I feel like the way we've handled it is so ass backwards. But anyways, so this complaint
one
goes
one one
into
note
go
Just
ahead.
one note, sorry. Purple Pops asked how many people are in this camp. I just checked. It's 40,000, mostly women and children. Children who are growing up. Um, yeah, I mean, like they were like they're getting closer to fighting age soon. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, probably a lot of these children can have children at this point. Um, so basically, the complaint goes on to talk about how they have evidence or believe that they have evidence that he was facilitating money to go actually towards ISIS fighting. So like, oh, he's asking, can you put some money aside for the brothers who are traveling and send the rest to the sisters? And so they're like, this is a reference to ISIS fighters or ISIS K members who are outside the detention camps. Um, so basically the complaint goes through a lot more evidence that they have of him facilitating money to ISIS. And then it goes on to talk about kind of who the identity of some of these people that he was communicating was, and basically that this individual ended up being arrested in Turkey because of his affiliation with ISIS K, and that he was implicated in this terrorist attack that ISIS K claimed on a Roman Catholic church in Turkey. And then this is kind of how things start to crumble because they get found out. Um, and so then we get into like what is the history of Mansouri? Like what's going on here? So basically, like I said, he came into the US in 2026, excuse me, uh 2016 on a tourist visa. So you're just supposed to be here to visit as a tourist, and then after you go do your sightseeing, you're supposed to go home. Well, he didn't go home. He stayed here illegally. And so he was an undocumented immigrant. And a lot of people don't know that I believe most people who are undocumented immigrants are actually people that came here legally and overstayed their visa. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Um, in my experience of knowing people who were undocumented, that's what they did. They overstayed their visa. Um, so basically, what ended up happening is he tried to apply for lawful permanent residence twice, but he did it fraudulently, and it was taken away from him. Like it was not granted. So basically, what he ends up doing wait. Okay. Before we get in wait, I'm so excited to talk about his fraudulent marriage because it's so crazy. I'm so excited. but I'm just gonna go through the timeline of this complaint. So basically, on his iPhone, they find all this information that he goes to gun ranges in New Jersey, which he's not allowed to do, and he's sending back photos to his ISIS buddies, like showing off, like, "Oh, brother, I'm ready." Like he pledges himself to ISIS. He's training. He sends videos of himself with firearms back to his ISIS buddies all the time. Just classic showing off, whatever, whatever. Um, uh, there are things that
How
make
does
them
somebody who's staying illegally in United States get so easy access to firearm?
this is a
Like, don't.
problem, and I hope they're looking into this gun range because this is not legal.
Hmm.
This is not legal. So anyways, although if you are a tourist in the US, you can go to a gun range.
I mean, but not if you're a tourist who has overstayed his.
Yeah, but how are they supposed to know that he's here? He might have a legal
He should
IDs.
be
He
in
might have
the
a legal
system. Like, if
identification for
you
all I know.
if you like, shouldn't be some where a system where it says this man came, he was supposed to leave, and we don't. He did not leave, and then it's in the system that, yeah, this guy
Okay.
is illegal, and do not give him a
Oh,
gun.
Canadian. Oh, my sweet Canadian prince. Okay, it's very cute that you think that we should have more checks and balances on who operates a firearm, and we can like barely get the basics of screening. So we're not gonna
Wow.
get a complicated system that's checking visa status federally. That's adorable.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen. We can barely get a system that says like if you've been charged and found guilty of domestic violence or like have a mental disorder, you're not allowed to do.
Okay.
From this
It
from
seems
the
like an
mouth
easy
of
fix, though.
babes, as we say.
Mm.
Um yeah, from Armin's lips to God's ears, exactly. Okay.
I mean, it seems
Basically,
like an easy fix. Like, you just have one centralized database that anybody who's selling gun has to verify
mm,
with. Like, it doesn't seem like a complicated. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like states' rights, federalism, like we never have stuff that's centralized. We bear like it's so hard to get centralized stuff in the US. It's just kind of not how we operate. Um so basically, they think that he was trying to obtain an illegal firearm. Okay, so it goes through like all, yeah, thank God I am ready, brother. Wow, praise be upon God, brother. This is perfect, brother. Like it, I don't know. The text messages and the way that they talk to each other are so funny. Um, okay, so now let's go into the immigration fraud. This was not the part of the complaint I was expecting to find so interesting. So basically, like we said, one of his family members turned him in. And now it starts to go into his relationship with individual three. Okay. We don't know who this is. We have no idea who this is. All we know is that this was someone born in the Bronx who lives in the Bronx, who never lived with this guy. They didn't know each other. And I'm going to do a spoiler. Like, she's a stripper. So,
So we have ISIS hiring strippers to be fake wives. This
yes.
is where we are
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
GTA 6.
And personally, when I think of a stripper from the Bronx, I think of Cardi B. So in my head, he's like married to Cardi B. I don't know. I don't know what who this woman is, what she looks like, but that's what I think of. That's the most famous stripper from the Bronx that I know. So
Okay.
basically, they when was this? In March of
I,
2017.
I want to see the communication between ISIS and a stripper. Like, I want to see those
You're about
exchange.
to. Wait.
Wait,
You're
really?
about to.
We have we have that? We
Yes,
have Islamists communicating with strippers, and we have the okay. Give me, give me, give me,
no,
give
this is
me.
why I told you this story is so much better than the headline.
Okay. We should have put
So,
this in the headline. This stream would have been like, we have This should we should
I
have
could
a
change it for
stripper.
the clip. I could say, like, the ISIS member
Yeah,
who
yeah.
married a stripper.
Yes, please. I mean, I think the stream would have been so many. There would be more people here if there was a
Dude,
stripper
I
in the
can change
title.
it. I
But
can
okay.
change it after this, I swear to God.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's walk through this. So basically, they get married and they basically meet like on the day that they get married or something. They only meet like twice. Um, and then shortly afterwards, they file a petition to become a lawful permanent resident as her spouse. And basically, you have to get legally married and then you can petition for permanent resident status or visa, whatever. And um the thing is that they try to get this visa or this permanent residence, but they do it fraudulently or they're missing required documents and it fails. His petition for permanent status via this marriage fails. So basically, he gets fake married to this stripper. We're going to get into it. She's extorting him for money because of this fake marriage, threatening to send him to immigration.
Oh, she is doing that to him. She
Yeah,
is doing
no,
that
we're
to
gonna
him.
get into it. She's blackmailing him
Oh,
because of this fake
oh
marriage,
wow.
and he
We
thinks
have
that he yeah,
we have strippers blackmailing ISIS
yeah,
before GTA 6. Wow.
and
Wow.
he's doing all this so that he can get the permanent residence, and that failed, so now he's just getting extorted by a stripper because of this bullshit, like, it didn't even work.
Wow. Okay.
So what he ends up doing is this original petition was abandoned because he then wants to divorce this woman. He wants to divorce her. And then he files a petition to become a lawful resident. And this pisses me off. And he does this under the Violence Against Women Act because he claimed that he was a victim of domestic violence by this stripper and some male friend of hers. And that basically he's trying to seek protection under the Violence Against Women Act, but and get permanent residence this way, which is something that like
Wait, what?
makes me so
I'm
angry on a
confused.
personal level because, um, people might not know this, but I have, like, secured funding at my work through the Violence Against Women Act to, like, fight FGM. And so this act is supposed to be intended towards people who are victims of domestic violence, stalking, dating violence, sexual assault. And this guy is lying about it, misusing it so he can be an ISIS member and maintain legal status here in the US by making up some bullshit that he was abused. It makes me so furious.
So to
Um
be clear, the Violence Against Women Act is supposed to protect all sorts of domestic abuse against, to protect all, like, regardless of them being women and men, or women or men, right? Even though woman is in the
largely,
title, and
basically.
the man used this law against the woman.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So basically, you're telling me an ISIS member in United States tried to use the U.S. government to complain about a stripper who is blackmailing him to claim that this stripper is beating me up. So please, the United States, come protect me and give me
Permanent residence.
protect me, give me permanent residence here because this stripper is beating me up.
Yeah, and
Asking
some
the United
other
States
male
government to
associate.
protect him.
Yeah.
ISIS member is trying to get the United States to protect him from a stripper who's blackmailing him and getting permanent residency so that eventually he could attack the United States. Yeah,
Yeah.
this should be a movie.
And
This
and
should
this
be a
is
movie.
this is like a law that's intended for, like, the security of, like, people who are vulnerable, like immigrant women who are vulnerable or something, and it's just complete abuse of the system. Um,
What
and
the
it pisses me off, let me tell you why, in case I didn't make it clear, because I know how important this is, and I know the good work that this does, and it's shit like this that undermines a program that's really important, you know what I mean? Um So basically, all of his petitions are fraudulent. And he's faking documentation. They obtain like, basically they made so basically okay, now we're gonna get into the text messages between them. So basically, so they get access to his iCloud account. And personally, I have this vision right now of this special agent, this like federal special agent going through his messages, reading all this stuff. Like, what? I just imagine his like his spy being like, oh my God, this is a mess. Like, okay. So basically, the messages show that Mansouri and his stripper wife had paid the stripper to marry him, and that the stripper continually demanded more money and would threaten to report him to the authorities. So their earliest exchanges are from 2020 when the stripper is demanding money to sign divorce papers. Because remember, they got legally married in 2017 to try to get the permanent residence. That failed. They still remained married until 2021. So in 2020, Mansouri is trying to divorce this woman. He's trying to divorce her and she's extorting him.
Why is he trying to divorce her? Like
I don't
why
know,
does he
probably
want that?
because
Uh,
the reason why they got married is to get the petition. It failed. Maybe he wants to try
Right.
doing it again with someone else. I don't know.
With
He just
someone
wants
else.
out. So,
Hmm.
basically the stripper texts him and says, I love this. I wish I could do a Bronx accent because literally you can read the Bronx in the text messages. So not I swear to God, no, just wait. So not to sound like an asshole, but I'm not signing the papers until I get the 2,000 up front. He replies, I don't have that much money. And she says, oh, okay, I'll give you time to save it up, but I'm not signing the papers till I get that. He failed to reply to several messages. And then she sent him, I'm giving you chances and you playing. I see how you moving. I'm trying to be professional and you brushing me off. So I'm going to report this to immigration.
Wow. Wow.
No, no, no. We got to read through all this. Since you not picking up, don't look for me to sign any divorce papers because I'm not signing it at all. And basically, okay, the messages reflect that he sent her money and continued to send her money. And but then she kept on making more demands for more money to pay bills. In 2021, she texted him complaining that he would not send more money and saying, I'm helping you out to get your papers. At least I'm helping you out to get your papers. The least you can do is help me out when I need it. And then 2021,
Wow.
Mansouri texted back in response to her irregular demands for money, and he's saying, "We agree. I will send you March 4th, and then the next will be April 4th." And said, "You must not break the contract, but every time you break." And then she says that no, there was no contract. We made a verbal agreement. Then she says, "When we got married, things was told different to me, and you want what you want, and I'm continuing to give it to you, but you don't want to work with me." And then he replies like, look, okay, I'll agree. I'll give you 200 every month. Like this month you get 300. She's saying, first off, we didn't even come to agreement about how much you was how much he was giving in total because Elizabeth told me 10K. Then you gave her my
Wow.
then you gave her my money when you were supposed to pay me directly. I took a $1,000 loss without me having the knowledge she got me for money. So whoever this Elizabeth is, Elizabeth facilitated this, and Elizabeth took $1,000 from the stripper. So everyone's getting played. Everyone's getting played for money here. And
And now she wants 10,000. Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
so Mansouri is like, okay, if you want to continue this way, I'm not gonna send you anything. You can do whatever you want. He's like, fuck you, I'm not sending you anything. And he's like, okay, so pay me for the divorce then. You want papers, but you don't want to pay the right price for another girl who would have got you for a lot more. So the stripper is saying, oh, big man, he wants the papers, but another girl would have forced you to pay it a lot more. I'm giving you a deal and you can't even do that. But another girl would have got a lot more. And then she continues, I'm gonna just speak to immigration. My sister is married the same way. The same way I am. She knows the system. She's helping me.
Wow.
She's saying, my sister also committed immigration fraud, marriage fraud.
My
She knows
God.
the system. She's helping me. We're gonna go to the authorities and fuck you over. And when
These-
um this sorry, this is so messy. This is so messy. On 1 month,
oh my
he didn't
god.
send her the money. He didn't send her the 200. He didn't get her 200. And so she sends him, "Since you've been completely ignoring me, I am not filing for divorce. You're just going to be stuck since you want to keep playing me like I'm stupid, changing my number. Don't look for me. You want to see your family, play for the divorce. If not, then you will never get your papers."
oh shit. Oh my god. Wow. This is amazing. Oh,
Again, I wish I could do an actual Bronx accent because that would make this 10 times better.
this needs to be turned into a show. Oh my
Oh my
god.
God. So basically, then that's kind of like kind of the end of like the situation with the messages from the stripper. So then what happens is that in they find other messages that he sent. And basically, he Mansouri, this Tajik national, what appears to be doing is he appears to be working illegally at like a moving company, like moving furniture, and so he's texting a colleague, and he's texting one of his coworkers discussing his fake marriage. And so this coworker, individual 4, is asking him, "Oh, have your friends also found you American wives to get green cards?" And he's like, "No, my friends haven't been successful in that. They haven't." And then his coworker asks him, "How did you find your American wife?" And he goes, "Oh, I thought I already told you the story." And then his coworker goes, "Oh, you didn't tell me the story, the details. You just said that you got married for a green card and she left." And Mansouri goes, "Yes." And then his coworker goes, "Why didn't you actually marry her? Did you not like her?" And he says, "No, I don't like her because she drinks a lot and she is a dancer somewhere dancing. Honestly, I don't know. We met twice, this affection for the wedding, and the second time I gave her money." So basically, they've only met each other in person twice. Once to
Hmm.
be cute and affectionate, to show up at the court to get legally married, and the second time to give her money. And then um he said that his fake wife, well, his legal wife, has an unofficial husband. And then his coworker says, sorry, I'm his coworker said, "Dancer is another word for stripper, LOL." And he goes, "Yes, she is a stripper, LOL." No, so me reading this complaint yesterday, I was like, "Man, who is this lady from the Bronx? Like, this is wild. What's going on here?" Because clearly she's involved in some sort of like underworld, right? To have a whole network of people involved in these in marriage fraud and fake marriages. I'm like, I bet she's involved in kind of a seedy business. And then it's like, oh yeah, she's a stripper.
right, right.
Um, And then his coworker says, "Oh, well, these women don't marry more than once, right? Or else the government will know that they do it for money." Basically saying, "Well, they can't fake marry people. It can't be like a rotating wheel. The government will figure it out." And he's just
Right.
saying, Mansouri replies, "Yes, they do it for the money." And he's saying, "No, I mean, they can't do it more than once because they'll get caught. It's illegal." And Mansouri goes, "Yes, you're right." And so basically, I mean, if we want to talk about incentives and motivations, that's why the stripper is asking for her money. She's like,
Mm.
this is my one-time come up to get a smooth 10K. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get
Right,
another opportunity to extort a man
right,
with a
right,
fake
right.
marriage because I can't do this multiple times because the government will find out.
Yeah,
Well, they found out
this was
anyways,
when
sister.
this was my one shot. So you better pay 10K. 2K is not worth it. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
Darko. Girl knows her worth.
you know what's so funny is because these people have came to the US like this man with the mindset of being part of this group of that tries to take down the United States, right? And it's funny how one American stripper is basically he cannot handle that. let alone the rest of the United States. Like, it was, like, forget the U.S. Army and intelligence.
Oh my god.
You can't even defeat a single American
One
stripper.
stripper from the Bronx.
That woman stand the rest of America aside. That just one woman just managed to defeat
Dude,
you.
I mean, low key, a stripper, that might be the final boss. This might be the final boss is a stripper from the Bronx.
Wow.
Dee saying,
Oh my
wait
god.
until she finds out he's sent 70K.
Oh shit! Yeah, to those ISIS women.
He's like,
Fuck.
oh, you
Yeah.
broke ass. You couldn't send me 200 a month. You're spending 70K to a bunch of.
Good point.
Oh,
Oh my
oh my
god.
God. Yeah, team,
Okay.
our first and strongest line of defense.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
she had him on the ropes. Look, I know what she was doing was illegal, but I love this woman, like, just making this piece of shit's life hell, you know? She's like being
Right.
stuck in that. Let me be clear. If you're with someone and they're using your immigration status to abuse you, that's unacceptable and it's not okay. And there are resources for you. But this piece of shit deserves it.
Right. Right.
he's
Right.
not
Right.
he's not here legally. Like, oh my god. Yeah. So
I want.
I
I want. I want this man. I want this man to contact his ISIS contacts around the Middle East and Syria and Tajikistan and Turkey and everyone, and like tell them, like, guys, listen, if the rest of these Americans are anything like this, like this stripper, we have zero chance. Like, fuck this shit. I thought like America is undefeatable. Okay, like I tell you that by experience. This was just one of them. I don't know
yes,
about the rest.
strippers
Yeah.
fighting terrorism. So I would like to give a shout out to the stripper. Well, actually, I mean, she deserves to face consequences and be charged for facilitating this fake marriage, which
Right.
kept
Yes.
a
To be honest.
wannabe terrorist in our country. Let me be clear. Okay. But you know who's the real American hero here? You know, this is what we should actually say. You know who's the real American hero here? The real hero here is the man's relative that turned him in. That said, this man is
Mhm.
dangerous. He's a threat. I'm afraid of him. He's committed domestic violence. He needs to be turned in. And they made the brave choice, even though they were afraid, because it talks about in the record that the person was afraid that he would be killed or she would be killed if this guy found out
Mhm.
that he turned him in. And they still did it. So, whoever you are, wherever you are a true American hero. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the other people we need to thank is the American intelligence and security agents that are constantly trying to monitor these things and
Yeah.
keeping you safe, like all the
Oh, in
intelligence
fact, I
officers.
can tell you exactly who. We can give a special thank you to Special Agent Jack Amaro,
Mm. Oh well, okay, thank you.
Special Agent of the FBI, Jack Amaro. Thank you for your service,
If,
Mr.
thank you for
Amaro.
your service, sir. Yes. Let me actually put this. Why can't I, before presenting screen,
Guys,
remove
see,
other
this is
media?
why I make the effort because I was like busy this weekend. There's like a family stuff going on. Like, I was like, oh, do I have time to read the complaint? No, this is why you read the complaint because none of the news reports were talking about his drama with the stripper. So,
Yeah,
it was a diversion, but I thought it was worth it.
that was good. That was good. That was good. Yeah. All right. So, what is these comments that she found? Like, let's look at these first before
Occasion
we
is
go
saying
to the super chat.
immediate citizenship for that relative. Shouts out if they're not
Yeah,
already. I don't know.
you have to know already. Yeah. I mean, that's not how it works, but yeah, I see what you mean. But anyways, you want
This
to read
person is
these
saying
the
we
comments
have
first?
enough anti-Americans born here. No need to import them. Here's the thing, like, okay, I understand the sentiment. Like, he's not being imported. He came legally on a tourist visa. Then he overstayed his visa. That's illegal. He's undocumented. Like, that's not importing. I don't know. Like, is people coming as a tourist importing? That's not usually how I think of it.
Yeah, and Tajikistan is also not one of those countries that are like that the citizens are much of a concern. So I don't know how you should have just monitored. Like there should be a better system when it comes somebody overstays their tourist visa. I just think that it should be a better system to just like just find them and get them out. Like this person was just like working. Like as soon as he didn't return, there should be some alarm bells somewhere in the system going out and like, okay, yeah, let's send somebody and find this person and deport them. Like that. I'm, I'm not I'm not mad that this man was allowed in. I'm mad that why is not. I don't know the details of how these things works, but I don't understand why is it so hard that if somebody overstays their visa, something in the system should be like, yeah, go find this person and deport them. Like, is that really that hard? That's the part I don't
Well,
understand.
I mean, let me be clear. ICE has a lot of that documentation. They do. But
Yeah.
New York is a sanctuary city. They're
Mm.
extremely constrained in what they can do within New York because it's a sanctuary city.
So this
If
is
we want to be
harming
all
the
the way
rest of the
real, that's
country.
part of what's happening here.
Mm. Yeah, so the federal government should not allow that. Like sanctuary city, what the bullshit is like? Well, like this is federal law. I don't understand. Anyways, I don't
Well, and that's what this
understand.
administration is doing now. They want to strip federal funding from states and cities that are not complying with federal law.
Hey, Amikai has a good title suggestion.
Yeah, no, she really said, "Bitch better have my money." Where's my
Yeah,
money?
bitch better have my money. Strip her to terrorist. That's a good title, yes. Okay, what about this one?
Yeah, this person is saying the same thing. Huge props to that relative for speaking out. Thank you, whoever you are.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube? Blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.